Hello and welcome to another great episode of Eye on Port, where we bring Ghana's ports and maritime industry closer to you. Eye on Port is made possible by Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, Meridian Port Services, Phoenix Insurance, and the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions Ghana. Eye on Port is powered by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, over recent years, several attempts have been made to enforce the marine cargo insurance policy here in Ghana, which requires all commercial imports to be insured locally. This is expected to create more revenue generating opportunities for local insurance companies while mitigating the risk of shipping supply chains. However, despite efforts to implement this policy, compliance remains low, raising questions about awareness, about risk, about trust between insurers and the to be insured, as well as raising questions about market readiness. Because of this, we engaged two individuals who have some depth in the insurance sector to explain to us why it is absolutely necessary to insure our cargoes locally. This is an excerpt of our conversation. Take a listen.
What is the biggest risk that cargo owners take, as far as, from your perspective at logistics, transport and all of that? What is the biggest risk that cargo owners take?
Thank you, Aisha. I think trade is becoming very sophisticated. We have been used to little things happening to cargo like pilferage, theft, breakage and others. Currently, you can see that from the geopolitical dimension, a lot of things are happening at the supply chain environment. Look at what is happening at the Strait of Hormuz. We had about 3,200 ships that were stranded with about over 20,000 seafarers on board the ships. Yeah. As of June, we have about 600 to about 11,000 seafarers. Others that have to go around it will have to go longer routes, and that means that there will be diversion expenses. We have other risks that are looming up, like look at even what happened in Burkina Faso. Our women going for tomatoes, that's trade as well, right? To just bring to Ghana onions, and look at the futilities that they suffered. So trade is becoming very sophisticated based on geopolitical tensions. We have new things like cyber risk that is emerging based on technological advancement. We have regulatory compliance, a lot of restrictions on environment, security issues. So the normal things we know are escalating based on these factors. So cargo owners are now facing a lot of risk. And once there's disruption in supply chain, you can think about the delays. You can think about the frustration for your business, because you can even lose loss of market, your clients and others. So it's becoming very sophisticated. And so we cannot underplay insurance based on regulatory compliance, but see it as a risk management mechanism to sustain our businesses no matter the shocks that comes. And you can think about things like acts of God. Look at the recent floods.
Yeah.
Once I called my insurance company, the first question was, has the flood taken your car away?
Okay.
So if that is the case, then it means
that you were going to get a brand new car.
Exactly. So if that was the case, it's comprehensively insured. So then you have transferred the risk to the insurer. But if you haven't insured it, then it means that all these, so we have people who have lost things at the market. Somebody lost their house recently to fire, and the next day I called, they on their way to the US. Why? There's something cushioning them, isn't it? So basically, we need to manage our risk, and it is even more important when it comes to cargo, trade, facilitation, and others, because, as I said, the risks are escalating.
So, yeah, I'm happy that you just spoke about Strait of Hormuz. We know how hard that really hits the whole world, whether it's your doing or not. You suffered the impact. So, and then you're just talking about the recent floods we had here in Ghana. That shows that there are so many uncertainties, and then in the cargo industry, we can also face such uncertainties. I just want you to elaborate on the importance, hit more on the importance of insurance, especially insuring your cargo for me.
Well, so as we have been educating people recently, we have the Insurance Act of 1061, Section 221 and 222, talking about cargo insurance. And it talks about the fact that all commercial cargo coming into the country should be insured locally. The essence is that when you import things, you usually take delivery at your port, airports, or transit points in your local country. Now, when you insure goods outside of the country, it means that when there's a claim, you have to contact the outside insurer. Sometimes it becomes impossible to get the claim because some of the policies that are coming are even in Chinese and others that people don't even understand. And you might even incur extra cost, even if it becomes possible. So one, we want you to sustain your business. So there's risk transfer from you because insurance is, as I said, a risk transfer mechanism. And the insurer is supposed to place you at where you were before the loss, sustaining the risk and therefore ensuring that there's business continuity. Two, there are a lot of risk associated with transport. So just like we have the Red Sea crisis, we have the Strait of Hormuz, we have others happening at the Gulf of Guinea and many others, which can disrupt your cargo without your influence or anything that you did. So basically, to be able to stand these shocks, once you take insurance, the insurance comes in to be able to cushion you. And the transport as well, the carrier, which is the shipping lines who bring the cargo, they are governed by international conventions. These conventions have rules and regulations that regulates the shipper's obligation and then the carrier's obligation. These carriers have something we call limitation of liability clauses. So you can buy your goods for, let's say, $100,000 and be compensated for $5,000 based on the calculation of the limit. So carriers don't give full compensation when your cargo is lost, unless they've been negligent and gone outside the rules. Then it means that they've stepped outside the rules, and therefore the rules will not be applicable in that case. But how often would that be? So because of that, the insurer will pay you the full sum insured for your cargo. And there are unforeseen things like what we call general average loss, where there's an extraordinary sacrifice or expenditure that is intentionally incurred for a common adventure. This can be declared, and you'll be there and you'll get a bill for your general average contribution. That is something that nobody plans for in business because it's something that can happen for when it's at your blind side. So basically, once you have insured your cargo, the cargo insurer will step in to pay your general average contributions. Aside that, when you insure your goods locally, the insurer is here. When there's a claim, the claim can be facilitated. If they are being stubborn, there's a regulator. The National Insurance Commission is a regulator to be able to regulate the insurer when they are being, or you can report them. If you insure in China, who are you going to report? There's jurisdictional barrier, there's a barrier with the dispute resolution and others. Again, language barrier. And you are actually buying this insurance using foreign currency. So again, you are losing in foreign exchange losses, you are incurring foreign exchange losses, as well as the complexities in the claim procedure. Again, most of the insurances that are even coming in, most of the goods that come in on CIF values, they are insured on what we call the Institute Cargo Clause C. The Clause C is like your third-party motor insurance. It is limited in cover compared to what we call the Clause A, which is an all-risk policy, like your comprehensive. Good. So basically, most people have bought. Actually, let me tell you, assuming you have this, your iPad, what's your biggest risk? It might be pilferage, theft. The Clause C doesn't cover anything like that. So when your screen is broken or anything like that, it means that you may have bought insurance, but it doesn't cover your risk. So these and many more are the things that we're advocating for. It is for the benefit of the importer to take the insurance locally. you forget about the regulatory requirements. It is for your benefit. One, the loss is noticed here. You open your container here in your port or at your airport or wherever you go and take delivery, post office or wherever, STC yard, wherever, because this insurance we're talking about is covering all commercial goods coming through any entry points. And it is a transit risk insurance. It is covering your risk for the transit. Even when you look at our environment, one of the biggest risks you have is transporting the cargo from the port to the inland points.
Yeah.
We see containers overturned on the road. So this is for your good. To be able to buy adequate insurance to cover your risk and tailor to your needs, because your needs may be different from somebody else's, depending on the trade term you were using. So when you sit down with a local broker or insurer, they will be able to give you adequate advice on the proper insurance to buy to cover your cargo.
It's interesting that you can have insurance which does not cover a lot of things like, I mean, thefts. Nobody cares if you have a particular insurance, a third party, and your screen breaks and you don't get insurance and all of that. That is why people think that more coverage means more cost. So a lot of people see insurance actually, I mean, as a whole, as an additional cost. But they really don't see it as an investment that is protecting your business. So how can we change this perception? I mean, listening to Gertrude, there's a lot more you can gain than lose in putting your money in insurance.
I guess the question is to me.
Yes, yes, Mercy.
Thank you very much, and good evening to our valued listeners and viewers. Yes, but insurance doesn't cost much.
Okay.
It doesn't cost
maybe from your perspective.
So the rates for insurance, we are looking at less than 1%, so it's 0.025 maximum. The highest risk when it comes to even sugar. If you are importing sugar from overseas into Ghana, the maximum rate it will be applied to the sum insured. The sum insured is determined by the cost price of the goods, the cost of freight, and then the insurance value itself, and a certain percentage of duty. Because what happens is when your goods arrive damaged, the customs requires that you still pay duty on the goods.
Okay.
So it's actually in your interest to insure the goods so that after you include the duty value in the price of the goods plus the freight, so that even when the goods have arrived damaged and you still have to clear them and you have paid the duty, you can still recover that cost. You understand?
Yes, I do.
Now, the current thing is, if you don't buy the insurance locally, in computing the duty, because the insurance premium paid should be incorporated into the cost of the goods plus the freight to determine the the dutiable value of the goods. There's a certain calculation to derive the premium payable. Okay. So you may have brought in the goods without insurance, or you may have brought the goods in with on CIF. But when you get to Ghana, before you pay your duty, a certain dutiable premium is derived. You would have paid, so it's derived, you pay duty on that component of the cost without you benefiting from any insurance.
Okay.
And like she said, there's a better benefit buying the insurance locally. Okay. You know your insurer. And the insurance industry is heavily regulated. If you, we are as regulated as the banks. Okay. And we have strict timelines within which we are supposed to pay claims. Okay. So, and if you are not satisfied with the way your claim is being processed, you go to the regulator. And they will listen to you and ensure that as much as possible, you are protected.
Okay.
So it is in your interest. And there's also, she mentioned business continuity. You invest so much in the good, in bringing in your goods. Yeah. Something happens. There could be a collision. And collision of two ships do occur on the high seas.
You could lose everything.
A ship gets grounded and your goods could be perishable and it could arrive damaged. A ship can catch fire, and in even dousing the fire, extinguishing the fire, further damage could be done to your goods. Maybe they are using water to extinguish the fire, and you are carrying something that is susceptible to water damage. So it gets you may not have suffered the fire, but in preventing the fire from spreading or extinguishing the fire, you would have suffered a loss.
Okay.
Your goods arrive. Yes, it may be shared amongst people under general average. If you don't have insurance, you'll be required to pay up your proportion of the general average before your goods are released to you, if your goods were not damaged. And if your goods were damaged and the others are like you, they didn't have insurance, what security can they provide by way of their contribution to general average? So it is for business continue. You invest so much, but we need to also spend just a little to protect that investment.
Well, people say, well, I have comprehensive insurance, I have third-party insurance, and I was involved in an accident, and then the insurance people are doing me cobra and all of that. Like, they are just there's some bureaucracy, it's taking too long for my problem to be resolved. It does look like there are some misconceptions out there. What are some of these misconceptions, and how can we really properly address these misconceptions?
So a lot of the time it's communication. A particular document may have been requested by the insurer. Sometimes insurers, to speed up, to make it easy for the claimant, will give you all the list of items you need to be able to process the claim. But it doesn't mean that you need all of them before you get your claims processed. So for some, you need to constantly engage your insurer. Now, the insurers are also compelled by regulation to constantly follow up on claims. So gone are the days when you file a claim and the insurer is dilly-dallying you. No.
Yeah, okay.
Now there's an obligation on the insurer to settle the claim and pay up once it's an admissible claim within a specified period, failing which they stand the risk of being sanctioned.
Okay.
And this is also part of the education. We are educating the public about the things you need to know about insurance. When there is a claim, you will need some documentation. If you have any difficulty, please reach out through your broker or your agent to your insurer, and they'll be able to sort the issue. Whatever is causing whatever is acting as a stumbling block would be resolved. But we are continually educating. We have the Ghana Insurance Association educating. We have the Ghana Insurance Brokers Association educating. We have the regulator itself also educating. And we have various bodies, other bodies. And this is one of the platforms we are using to educate and disabusing the minds of the general public, the insuring public, about the things they need to know about insurance and the fact that you need insurance to move on.
All right, you just heard from the Executive Director of the West Africa School of Shipping, as well as the Chief Executive Officer of Serene Insurance, letting us understand what we stand to benefit if we insure our cargoes locally. This is now the time to hear a few comments, questions that have been shared with the guests during the course of the live show, which will be accompanied by some answers. After, we'll go on break and then return with more news. Stay tuned.
Tobias from Pokwasi says, how do I know if I'm buying the right marine cargo insurance policy?
Once you speak to any broker or
an agent,
and they are all, if for instance, if you're looking for an insurance, it's not difficult. If you go to the NIC website, all insurance companies are listed there. So their contacts, and so it's good to speak to them to be able to advise you. As we said, that is the only way you can get the right cover. Do I need a warehouse to warehouse? Do I need policy A? Or because we said that the C is, for instance, very good for total losses. So if you are bringing in something that the risk you're expecting is a total loss, then the C cover can be okay for you. But if it's a partial loss, then the C is limited, so it might not work. And it's not everything that the insurers will also give you an A cover. If you are bringing in things like second-hand goods and things, they are not going to give you an A cover. So it's until you talk to an expert, the brokers or the insurance companies or any expert in the logistics chain who has knowledge of insurance. They will be able to advise you.
Frank from Teshi says, can I choose any insurance company or are there approved insurers?
So there are banks and there are banks, there are insurance companies, and so you decide on where you want your risk to.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Every day we step out hit purpose to work, to build, to provide, to dream. But sometimes life takes an unexpected turn. An accident, a fire outbreak, a medical emergency. Moments we never planned for. And when they happen, the right support changes everything. Hi, I'm Serena, and at Serena Insurance, we stand with you through every challenge and every victory. Protecting your family, your business, your job, your future, and you. Our services include motor, fire, marine, engineering, aviation, and bonds and guarantees are tailored to suit your needs. Because insurance is not just about policies, it's about peace of mind, confidence, and knowing that no matter what happens, you are covered. Visit our website to view our insurance policies right now. Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 0246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. FIBA is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
Across the corridor and every major yard, GPHA is the choice of over 11,000 professional drivers. Visit our kiosk to register. Join a community built on safety, savings, and success. Get your official high-vis gear and your personalized GPHA ID, your key to a smarter journey. With over 11,000 members, you are never driving alone. This is the GPHA standard of excellence. Tap your card for instant fuel discounts at Shell. Save more on every fill and keep your profits high. Maximize your earnings with our real-time load board. Find your next haul instantly.
All right, viewers, another busy week in our ports and maritime sector, especially when it comes to the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. And they've been very busy. Let's have a look at some of the events that transpired. The governing board of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has visited the proposed site for the construction of Ghana's first manganese refinery at Insure in the Western region. The visit formed part of the board's working tour of key operational and industrial facilities with the potential to generate increased cargo volumes through Ghana's ports, particularly the port of Takoradi. During the visits, the board received a comprehensive briefing on the proposed refinery, its implementation plans, and its expected contribution to Ghana's mining and logistics sectors. The refinery is expected to enable the local processing of manganese ore, moving the country beyond the export of raw materials, and creating greater value within the domestic economy. Once operational, the facility is projected to create thousands of direct and indirect employment opportunities, increase the value of Ghana's manganese exports, and contribute significantly to the country's industrialization agenda. The project is also expected to boost export traffic through the port of Takoradi. Board members reaffirmed the authority's readiness to continue working with the industry stakeholders to ensure that Ghana's ports infrastructure remains responsive to the evolving needs of strategic industrial investments and capable of supporting increased trade volumes.
The idea is to now add value. Then we can compete with other exporters. Then we'll add value in line with His Excellency's idea of what? Value addition to raw materials instead of us depending on raw materials. So somebody will say, if that happens, then it means they will not be exporting iron ore through Takoradi. Because if they are going to process them in Ghana, no. The idea is that they will still process it in Ghana into a semi-finished product and it is exported outside Ghana. So we'll still have the volumes that we are having.
This project is like the milestone in the mining section in Ghana. And we are also want to value add our ores and also expand the revenues to Ghana as well.
The Director-General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Major General Paul Seydou Tanyakolono, has visited the ABS fishing harbour in Sekondi to commiserate with fisherfolk following the devastating fire outbreak that occurred at the facility in June. The fire, which destroyed a makeshift fuel storage area, was triggered by a fallen tree during a heavy rainstorm that damaged an electricity pylon cable. Fortunately, no lives were lost in the incident. Addressing stakeholders, the Director General explained that he was out of the country when the disaster occurred, but immediately directed the Director of Port of Takoradi to coordinate the emergency response. Upon his return to Ghana, he said it was important to visit the harbour personally to assess the situation, engage with affected fisherfolk, and assure them of GPHA's commitment to restoring normalcy in support of their livelihoods.
The Minister of the Regional Administration, Ghana Navy, and then GRIDCO, and then we are coordinating to see how best we can secure the high grounds so that in the future we shouldn't have such a serious calamity.
During the interaction, the fisherfolk appealed for an increase in the supply of ice blocks from the harbour's ice plant to meet growing demand. Major General Tanya Kulono acknowledged the challenge and assured them that the matter would be presented to the GPHA Governing Board for consideration at its next meeting. The ABS Fishing Harbour, built with support from the Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA, is managed by the GPHA Port of Takoradi as a corporate social responsibility facility that supports the fishing industry. The harbour serves an estimated 10,000 users every day, making it a vital contributor to livelihoods and food security in the Western region. The Director-General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Major General Paul Seydou Tanya Kulono, on Wednesday, 22nd July 2026, commissioned an ultra-modern physiotherapy unit at the GPHA Hospital in Takoradi. The new unit, equipped with modern physiotherapy equipment, is expected to improve rehabilitation services and provide better care for patients. Speaking at the ceremony, the Director General urged staff of the unit to operate and maintain new equipment with care to ensure its longevity. The commissioning of the facility forms part of the authority's continuous investment in modern healthcare infrastructure to support efficient service delivery at the GPHA hospital.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, Major General Paul Seydou Tanya Kulono, on Tuesday, 21st July, commissioned a state-of-the-art AI-powered Philips Incisive 128-slice CT scanner at the International Maritime Hospital, IMaH's, officially restoring CT scan services at the facility. The advanced imaging system offers superior image quality, faster scanning times, reduced radiation exposure, and enhanced diagnostic accuracy. It also significantly expands the hospital's diagnostic capabilities, enabling the provision of specialized services such as stroke assessment, advanced cardiac imaging, coronary artery, calcium scoring, virtual colonoscopy, and AI-assisted lung nodal detection. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, Major General Tanya Kulono reaffirmed GPHA's commitment to improving healthcare delivery through continuous investments in cutting-edge medical technology. He noted that the acquisition of the new CT scanner is part of GPHA's broader vision to provide world-class healthcare services to patients and enhance access to advanced diagnostic solutions.
Commissioning this product, I must say that the importance of this can never be overemphasized. The only thing I would say is that you've assured me, but I believe in action. Let's make sure that we put it to good use, we maintain it very, very well, so that at least it stays beyond the 10 years warranty that they are giving us. And I'm sure by the time you leave here, our people should be in a position to be able to operate.
The Director General further urged the management of IMaH's to ensure regular maintenance of the equipment to maximize its lifespan and sustain the delivery of quality healthcare services.
So let's take it as a personal project.
Correct.
Let's see how we can use this project to pay for ourselves, be able to buy our equipment. So as much as possible, let's try put in our best, and then at the end of the day, when IMaH is out there, your names will be mentioned in dispatches that you were the people who made it possible.
Chief Executive Officer of IMaH, Dr. Vitus Victor Anab Bisi, expressed gratitude to the board and management of GPHA for the unwavering support. He assured stakeholders that the hospital would make optimal use of the scanner to improve patients' care and strengthen diagnostic outcomes.
But for you, we wouldn't have had this machine today. So we want to thank you and appreciate you for all that you have done. And we give you our promise, solemn promise, sacred promise, that we shall take very good care of this machine and we shall recover the cost, and so that you'll be happy with us and you can do more for us.
20 participants have successfully completed GPHA's intensive 1-month forklift training program after undergoing rigorous classroom and practical instruction. The trainees were taken through key areas including the history of forklifts, forklift stability, safe operating procedures, interpretation of forklift data plates including maximum lifting capacity, load center and maximum lifting height, as well as the dangers of alcohol and drug use in equipment operations. Addressing the graduates, Port Human Resource Manager Joseph Kupeng described forklift operators as critical to every organization involving in material handling, noting that their decisions have a direct impact on lives and operational efficiency. He urged the graduates to uphold professionalism, respect safety procedures, and view their certificates as the beginning, not the end of their learning journey, emphasizing that investing in people remains the organization's greatest asset.
Continue learning as you leave this place with your certificates. It's an accomplishment, but again, for emphasis, that's not the end of your learning career. Keep investing in yourself. The more you invest in yourself, the more opportunities that will come your way.
Lead and Structure and Logistics Officer at GPHA, Reverend Isaac Donko Da Costa said, while participants adapted quickly to the theoretical lessons, mastering the practical handling of the machines proved to be the greatest challenge. He said, the program has equipped participants with the technical competence and safety consciousness needed to operate forklifts responsibly, adding that GPHA intends to train more operators to meet future operational demands.
You and I know when there is a consistent accident happening in the port, it can even prevent people from doing business with us because we have a lot of port also surrounding us. So if our port is not safety conscious, I don't think it will attract a lot of investments to come. So we are doing everything possible throughout this training to make sure we minimize the rate of accident within the port.
According to the Learning and Development Unit, it will continue rolling out similar programs to build a highly skilled and safety-conscious workforce for Ghana's ports.
You taught us not only how to operate a forklift, but also the importance of safety, responsibility, equipment care, and protecting lives and cargo. We sincerely appreciate your guidance and encouragement throughout the training.
Let's now turn our attention to the global stage and hear what is happening there too.
Great Lakes bulker aground Algona Equinox got stuck coming off the dock into St. Clair River in Ontario. While it can happen a few times a year along the busy shipping lanes of the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence, every time one of the big ships goes aground, it becomes a tourist attraction. The 470-foot Laker Algoma Equinox was no exception, as it spent the night stuck in the river while the crew and teams from the shore coordinated to free the big ship. The vessel, which operates for Canada's Algoma Central, entered service in 2013, with the company highlighting a new design for a region that often sees much older ships. At 39,400 deadweight tonnage, the ship is a familiar sight on the waterways. The vessel loaded grain at Cargill's Sarnia Grain Terminal and was heading out around 3 p.m. on Tuesday, July 21, from the North Slip. It got a little way out when the ship went aground in a shallow area of the St. Clair River and became stuck. The operator of Sarnia Harbour told the local newspaper, The Independent, he thought it was the captain's effort for navigating too close to the shallow area. However, it also told Sarina News Today that they were looking at if weather and wind at the time were a contributing factor. He admitted there was a storm coming in around and time the vessel was departing. 2 tacks were dispatched, but they determined the stern was firmly stuck. Reports said the crew decided that they were going to have to lighten the stern by pumping ballast water into the forward tanks. River container vessel damaged by explosion, deckhouse ripped apart and gas tankers askew after an explosion on the river vessel. Chinese officials are confirming a small feeder ship used to transfer containers on the Yangtze River was restocked by an explosion early on Wednesday morning, July 22. One crew member from the ship is reported to be missing, and several containers and gas tankers were propelled overboard by the explosion. The river vessel Yihang Mingwan is an LNG-fueled hybrid used to shuttle containers along the river and to the port in Wuhan. The reports vary, with some saying the ship was still maneuvering into the dock, while others said cargo handling operations had begun. Around 05:30 local time, there was a loud explosion at the stern of the ship, followed by reports of a fire. At least 7 containers were tossed overboard, as well as some of the gas tanks, which were in transport cradles. The Port Authority ordered all operations suspended in the port, and the vessel was evacuated. Later reports indicate the explosion occurred in the engine room of the vessel. Pictures posted on social media show the deck house ripped apart, at least one large hole, and the gas tanks in the carriers askew. Officials said they were lucky that the gas canisters did not explode. Fire engines from the shore Thames arrived, and any fire was quickly extinguished. A search and recovery operation was underway.
It is now time for our word or phrase of the day segment, which has been designed to bring you closer and let you understand words, phrases, jargons, and terminologies that we often use in this industry so you can get familiar with them.
Point of reference for local times everywhere. UTC, or Coordinated Universal Time, is the standard time used to determine local times around the world. Every time zone is defined by its difference from UTC, and this difference is called the UTC offset. For example, the local time in China is 8 hours ahead of UTC. Therefore, China Standard Time has a UTC offset of UTC plus 8. This means that when it is 9 o'clock in the morning UTC, the time in Beijing is 5 o'clock in the evening, or 1700 hours.
The health and safety tip of the week is next.
Eye chart. An eye chart is used to measure visual acuity or how clearly a person can see. Eye care professionals use it to determine if corrective lenses are needed, update prescriptions, and monitor changes in vision. During the test, a person reads letters or symbols from a set distance, usually 20 feet by 6 meters. The results are recorded at ratios like 20 by 20, where 20 by 20 indicates normal vision. Corporate workers are advised to have regular eye examinations as part of their healthcare routine.
Let us now have a look at the schedule of vessels that have berth in the ports of Tema, Takoradi, at the anchorages of both ports, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. Now, this is where we draw the curtain on this week's edition of Eye on Port. And as usual, we hope you've been informed and educated. Remember all Eye on Port content. If you go to our YouTube, you find all of that there at Eye on Port. Please subscribe, like, and then share our videos. Thank you for watching.